When you finally live alone, something happens to your mind that nobody warned you about. Not collapse, not depression, not the slow fade they predicted. Something rarer than that. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why the Gen X men who go through this quietly, without announcing it, without rushing past it, come out the other side as the most grounded, most dangerous version of themselves they've ever been. But you need to understand what's actually happening first, because most men read this moment completely wrong, and that mistake costs them everything. You were built differently from the start. No participation trophies, no emotional check-ins after a hard day. You got a neighborhood, a bike, and a curfew when the streetlights came on. The divorce rate exploded around you. Both parents worked. The television finished raising you. And you learned, early, without anyone saying it out loud, that the adults weren't always coming. So you built an internal world. Alone in your room, headphones on, door shut. You didn't call it coping. It was just survival. But what you were actually doing, without knowing it, was building the exact mental architecture you're going to need right now. You just forgot you built it. Because somewhere between your 20s and your late 40s, life filled every available space. Career, relationship, kids maybe, mortgage definitely. The slow, invisible accumulation of obligations that didn't feel like a cage until the day you looked up and couldn't remember the last decision that was purely yours. 25 years of noise. Not the loud kind, the constant kind. Someone else's schedule, someone else's mood. The emotional temperature of a house that was never fully yours to set. You managed it every single day. The expectations, the friction, the distance between who you actually were and who the situation needed you to be. You didn't call it noise. You called it life. And then the door closed, and the silence arrived. Heavier than you expected, and full of something you didn't have a name for yet. Here's what that something actually is. Most men hit this moment and make one of two moves. They panic. They fill the silence immediately. New relationship, constant plans, television running in every room. They treat solitude like a wound, like the quiet itself is what's hurting them, or they sit in it. They stay in the discomfort. They don't reach for the first thing that promises relief. And the men who make that second choice, who stay still long enough to get curious about the silence, those men change in a way that doesn't have a clean word in English. The Stoics called it hegemonikon, the ruling mind, finally operating without interference. You won't need the word. You'll feel the thing. But here's the mechanism. The actual reason your mind sharpens when the noise stops. Because understanding it changes how you use this time. For decades, your brain has been running under what researchers call cognitive load, the invisible mental tax of tracking another person's needs, moods, and rhythms every single day. It doesn't feel like labor because it never stops long enough to notice. It runs in the background, consuming processing power around the clock. When that load disappears, your brain doesn't collapse. It expands. The capacity that was silently spent managing your environment gets redirected inward, back toward questions you stopped asking because there was never enough stillness to hear the answers. What do you actually want? What do you actually think? What does your life look like when it's built for you, not around someone else? Gen X men understand this instinctively. Remember being 15, alone in your room, headphones on, the world outside completely irrelevant? That wasn't isolation. That was the first time you learned to go inward. Solitude was your original language. You just spent 3 decades forgetting you spoke it. Now here's what nobody tells you. The phases. Because if you don't know what's coming, you'll misread the early ones and bail right before the transformation begins. The first 2 weeks feel like withdrawal. Real withdrawal. You're coming off decades of external stimulation. Other people's energy, shared rhythms, the identity that came from being someone's partner, someone's provider, someone's constant. When that scaffolding comes down, there's a moment where you don't know what structure is actually yours. That is not breakdown. That is renovation. By week 3, something quiet begins. You're sleeping deeper. Mornings have a stillness that feels almost suspicious. You start making small decisions with no negotiation. What to eat, when to move, how to spend a Sunday, and every single one of those decisions is an act of reclamation. You start remembering things. Gen X didn't grow up scheduling self-discovery. You found yourself through doing, through real conversations and late nights and figuring it out in real time with no algorithm feeding you the next step. That instinct never left. It's waking up now. And by month 3, the men who didn't run come out moving differently. Not louder, quieter, but with a weight behind every step that wasn't there before. That weight has a name, and it's the last thing most people expect to find on the other side of loss. The world has a script for a man alone at 50. You already know it. You've seen it in people's eyes, heard it in the advice wrapped in concern. Get back out there, stay busy, find someone, don't isolate. As if solitude is the enemy, as if the silence is what's breaking you. But Gen X was never built for other people's scripts. You were the generation of Fight Club and Office Space, stories about men suffocating inside lives that looked perfect on paper and felt completely wrong in the body. You understood that before you had language for it. The institutions never fully convinced you. The corporate ladder looked suspicious from the bottom. The milestone chart felt like someone else's idea of a life. That instinct was never cynicism. It was clarity. A man without an audience is not a man without a story. He is a man who finally stopped performing one. Drop the costume, step out of the role, stand in front of the mirror and look at what's actually there. What's there is not failure. What's there is not a man whose best years are behind him. What's there is someone who carried the weight of a shared life for 3 decades without fully collapsing under it, who showed up when showing up cost him something real, who kept the lights on, the calendar moving, the peace intact, mostly at his own expense, mostly without acknowledgement. That man is not at the end of something. He is at the beginning of the only chapter he has ever written entirely on his own terms. There's a kind of man that other people feel before they understand. He's usually the quietest in the room, but there's something in his stillness that takes up space, a gravity that doesn't announce itself, an opinion that doesn't need your agreement to stay true. You've been near men like this. You remember how the room adjusted. That quality cannot be performed, cannot be purchased, cannot be learned from a weekend seminar or a self-help shelf. It is forged, and the forge is exactly where you're standing right now. Every morning you face the silence instead of fleeing it. You're building it. Every decision made from your own clarity instead of someone else's expectations. You're building it. Every week you stay grounded while the world around you runs on chaos. You're building it. And one day, without an announcement, without a single witness, you'll walk into a room and something will shift. That's it. That's what the silence was constructing the entire time. Here's the part most men miss, and it matters more than everything else combined. This season is not a pause, not a waiting room, not a gap between the life you had and the life you're supposed to want next. It is your life, fully alive, right now. The trap, the only thing that can truly waste this season, is believing the meaning lives somewhere on the other side of this. That once you've healed enough, rebuilt enough, found the next person or the next chapter, then it begins. Then it counts. That belief will cost you the whole thing. Gen X knows the DIY principle better than any generation alive. You didn't wait for permission. You built your own scene before the infrastructure existed. You showed up before anyone was watching and made something real anyway. Apply that here. The meaning is in this room, right now, in the uncomfortable 6 a.m., in the meal you cook for yourself on a Wednesday, in the walk where you finally think thoughts you've been too busy to finish for years, in the quiet, private, unglamorous work of becoming someone you genuinely respect. Marcus Aurelius, a man who commanded an empire and still made time to be honest with himself in the dark, wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, because a man fully present to where he is can build anything. A man always wishing he were somewhere else builds nothing." You are not behind. You are not a cautionary tale. You are not someone to feel sorry for. You are not a man whose best years exist only in memory. You are a Gen X man, which means you have already survived being squeezed, overlooked, and written off by every generation that got more noise and more credit than you did. And you are still here, still standing, still sharp, still building, quietly, seriously, without needing applause. The house is quiet now. That is not lost speaking. That is the sound of your real life, the one that was always underneath everything else, finally beginning. Don't waste a single morning of it.